Unfortunately, in Indonesia there is not much statistics about tea. The government somehow doesn't like to collect the information. We managed to get some figures, and here they are. So the total output is 165 tons, which is quite big, and in the world Indonesia is one of the top 5 tea producers. As you can see, the biggest share is orthodox black tea, and then we also make CDC black tea and green tea. Green tea pan-fired and steamed. Then the export from Indonesia is about 100,000 tons, 100 million kilograms. Again, this makes Indonesia one of the biggest exporters. And the share of the black tea and green tea is approximately for the local market. The retention means for the local market is about the same. Indonesians actually drink a lot of green tea with jasmine, and usually it is consumed in the form of ready to drink with sugar. This is the breakdown of, shall I call it? In Indonesia we still have a very big state-owned company, state-owned plantation company, which is called PTP. It's an abbreviation of 3 Indonesian words, which basically means in English state-owned plantation company. That company is not only producing tea, they are making a lot of other commodities like palm oil and coffee and cocoa and rubber. And tea has been always one of the biggest commodities they produce. So here you can see how much is made by the state-owned industry and how much is made by in total and respectively by the private sector. This is the statistics of the last 7 years. So from 2010 was 165, and then down to 2008, 9, 4. So it's quite stable. There are not really many changes. The volume is more or less the same every year. Of course, the changes are there, but they depend on the weather mainly. So this is regarding the breakdown of the Indonesian tea players, the companies that make tea in Indonesia. So we have, as I already told you, we have state-owned plantations, then we have private plantations, and we have smallholders. Smallholders, farmers who basically do not have any factories, who only grow the green leaf, and then they would ask small producers to make final product from their green leaf. So that's the breakdown. By area, smallholders occupy the largest area in the country, but as you can see here on the other diagram, the volume that they make is quite small compared to the state-owned and private plantations. The history of the Indonesian tea industry started in the 19th century, when the Dutch colonists, they brought first seeds of plants from Japan and from China. They set up plantations, and for many years it has been controlled by the Dutch. In the 1950s, after the independence was obtained by Indonesia, their plantations, most of their plantations, especially the better plantations in the highlands, they were nationalized, and a special company was set up, which is called PDP, the company that I told you before. The estates are located in both islands, Java, both biggest islands of Indonesia, Java and Sumatra. And Java is definitely by far the biggest tea producer in the country, especially the western part of Java where most of the tea plantations are. In the past, tea has been very important for the country, especially when Holland, when the Dutch was still in charge, in power. But during the last 20 years, the importance of the tea business, especially the tea export, has come down because of the new commodities. New commodities like palm oil, like rubber, they bring much more value to the country rather than tea. And that's why very often people say that Indonesian tea is undervalued compared to Sri Lanka, to India, to China. In Indonesia we make mainly we make tea. We talk about black tea, then we make orthodox and CDC, and the ratio is 80 to 20. So mainly it is orthodox black tea, orthodox manufacturing origin. And as in other big producing countries, we have tea auctions. So usually tea, especially tea from the state-owned plantations, is sold through the auction, which is held every week in Jakarta. And the composition of the auction sales versus private sales is 60 to 40. So the auction is quite small. If you see that auction, you would actually think that people got together for a friendly discussion. It's different from many other countries. Here are some figures about the export. Unfortunately, we don't have 2010 because, as I said, it's very difficult to collect data from the government in Indonesia. But not many things changed in last year. So CIS, Russia, Ukraine, Stan republics, they lead. They are the biggest destination. Then the second is United Kingdom, Great Britain, England. Then Pakistan buys a lot of tea from Indonesia. Of course Malaysia, because it's a neighboring country and it's very convenient for Malaysia to import from Indonesia. Germany has been loyal customer for Indonesian tea for many years. And then all the others who are not so big, US, Holland, United Arab Emirates. The geography is changing. Slowly new countries appear on the buying list, on the destination list, and one of the recent trends has been activity from Asian countries, Southeast Asia and China. China is showing more and more interest in Indonesian tea, especially because there is a special trade agreement now between Indonesia and China. So the Chinese companies, they don't have to pay the import duty. And thank you for your attention.